Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a really fascinating topic, the narrative journey of innovation. But we aren't just talking about the technological kind of innovation. We're actually going to look at the biological innovations of the human mind. Specifically, we're going to explore why our modern, highly evolved brains struggle so incredibly much with this simple act of waiting. I mean, we live in an era of totally unprecedented speed, right? Yet our internal hardware just seems to glitch the second we're forced to pause. So let's dive into this and figure out exactly what is happening inside our heads.
So why does waiting feel so unbearable? I want you to really think about that for a second. Why does the simple act of just waiting create such intense, agonizing frustration for us? Even when we're perfectly safe, standing in a climate-controlled room with absolutely zero physical threats in sight. Well, the answer has almost nothing to do with actual time, and absolutely everything to do with the way your brain evolved over millennia.
Picture this. You're standing in a supermarket line. There's literally just one person ahead of you. You're good to go. But then, boom, out comes the giant coupon book. Or maybe they need a complicated price check. Suddenly, 30 seconds feels like 5 minutes. Your heart rate might even tick up a bit. You start sighing, maybe shifting your weight from foot to foot. It's just a tiny micro moment of everyday life, but the frustration you feel in that checkout lane is intense, and it's very, very real.
Or how about this? A perfect example of our modern digital anxiety. You're waiting for a text from someone you care about, or maybe it's a crucial work update. You check your phone, nothing. 1 minute later, you check again, still nothing. Staring at that blank screen, 1 single minute feels like an absolute eternity, doesn't it? The silence is deafening. But why? Why do we get so incredibly impatient when nothing objectively bad is actually happening to us?
To figure this out, we need to travel way back. Section 1. Built for immediate survival. Let's take a look at nature's original innovation.
Imagine you're living 40,000 years ago. You haven't eaten all day, and you finally spot a berry bush. Do you think your brain would say, "Hey, let's wait until tomorrow"? Of course not. Survival depended on acting immediately. Food disappeared, animals escaped, opportunities vanished in the blink of an eye. Our ancestors who reacted instantly survived longer than those who hesitated. Fast forward to a few centuries ago, and human innovation brought us agriculture, meaning we actually had to learn to wait for seasonal rains and harvests. But today, we expect instant digital gratification. We are operating modern technology with a brain that is hardwired for ancient survival.
Over thousands of generations, evolution rewarded brains that acted fast. And that ancient programming? It still lives inside you right now. Even though you're no longer chasing food through a dangerous forest, your brain fundamentally believes that immediate action equals survival. That is exactly why waiting feels so uncomfortable. That voice in your head whispering, "What if you miss your chance?" Yeah, that's just your ancient brain mistaking a totally harmless modern delay for a literal life-or-death threat.
Which brings us right to Section 2, craving closure and the need for certainty. This is the second huge reason we hate waiting.
You see, waiting creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates tremendous stress. Think about waiting for exam results, or hearing back after a big job interview, waiting for medical test results, or just sitting around for an important phone call. Notice something? The hardest part isn't always the final result itself. It's the not knowing. When your brain is stripped of certainty, it can't find answers, so it just keeps thinking. Again, and again, and again. It's an endless mental loop, and it is profoundly exhausting.
Now, let's look at the chemistry of all this. Section 3, the true role of dopamine. This completely changes how we understand the journey.
You know, most of us think dopamine is just the pleasure chemical. Actually, scratch that. It's way more than that. Dopamine is really the chemical of anticipation. When your brain expects a reward, it releases dopamine before you actually receive it. This brilliantly explains why constantly checking our phones feels so addictively exciting. Refreshing social media, looking for likes, tracking a package delivery on a map, every single possibility of a reward keeps your brain on high alert, just flooding your system with anticipation.
And here is where the narrative journey of innovation takes a bit of a dark turn. Section 4, how innovation broke our patience. Modern technology constantly trains us to expect instant rewards. Think about the conveniences we use every single day. Fast internet, instant messages, one-click shopping, same-day delivery. Now, these are absolutely incredible innovations, but they have actively trained our ancient brains to expect instant gratification all day, every day. And the more instant gratification we get, the harder waiting becomes. We're essentially working out our instant reward muscles every day while letting our patience muscles completely atrophy.
Have you ever noticed this strange phenomenon? 5 minutes watching your favorite movie flies by because your focus is on the activity, But 5 minutes waiting in total silence? That feels absolutely endless because your focus is entirely on the time itself. Time hasn't changed at all. Your attention has. The more attention you give to time, the slower it appears to move. It's the classic watched pot never boiling. The pot doesn't actually boil more slowly, it just feels that way because you're agonizing over every single second.
Let's put that into perspective by contrasting it with our ancestors. They waited for entire seasons, for rain, for animals to migrate. Today, entertainment is literally seconds away. Food is minutes away. Any answer to any question is just one search away. Your phone teaches your brain that almost everything should happen immediately. Because of this overwhelming access, even tiny delays start to feel incredibly frustrating. Our impatience is spreading like wildfire into our relationships, our work, our learning, and our long-term goals.
So how do we fix this? That brings us to Section 5, Patience as a Superpower. This is about mastering the wait.
If we want to succeed in the modern world, we have to recognize that mastering this biological mismatch is the true secret to future success. Think about the great innovators. The most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest. Often, they are simply better at waiting. Investors wait years to see returns. Athletes train for decades for a single Olympic moment. Scientists spend countless hours, often years, on experiments that might completely fail. Artists endure thousands of practices before creating a masterpiece. Extraordinary achievers across every single discipline harness patience as an active skill. They wait out the massive delays required to achieve greatness.
This brings us to the core conflict of our everyday lives. On one side, you have your ancient brain, which demands immediate rewards to ensure survival. On the other side, you have your modern goals. Things like a healthy body, a successful career, financial freedom, mastery of a skill. All of these absolutely require delayed rewards. This creates a fierce daily internal battle. Every single day, you are fighting your own evolutionary programming. The people who learn to manage that specific battle are the ones who achieve extraordinary things. Because patience isn't passive, folks. It is a highly trainable skill.
Here's the big takeaway from all of this. Real freedom begins when you recognize your ancient programming. The goal isn't to magically eliminate impatience. I mean, you can't fight millions of years of evolution. But the moment you understand why your brain hates waiting and why it reacts the way it does, you stop being controlled by it. You can take a breath in that supermarket line and say, okay, that's just my ancient survival instinct acting up. That realization is deeply, deeply empowering.
So I want to leave you with a final provocative question. What is the absolute hardest thing you've ever had to wait for? Was it a massive career breakthrough, a relationship, a personal goal? Understanding your brain is the very first step to mastering it. I invite you to share your own journey of patience and the delays you've had to conquer, down in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and remember that mastering the wait is mastering yourself.